Hi everyone, welcome to my second video of ZEPETOR class. In this lesson we'll be looking at how to animate hair and clothes. It's actually easier than it sounds, but there are quite a few ways to do this on VideoStar, so this lesson will just explore the different ways to do it. If you want to animate hair, I recommend separating your layers very clearly throughout the entire editing process. This includes when you're drawing and editing on your software like IbispaintX or Procreate. Layers are very important for both photo editing and editing on VideoStar. For example, your layer 1 should be the only background, especially if it's a very ornate background. You wouldn't want it to be affected by the wave effect we'll apply later to make the hair move. Then, you should select or add an image of your avatar's hair. If it's long with a transparent background, in layer 2, you just want to make sure that it's the only thing that moves in the back. If you want to save time on your editing software, just make sure that the hair is on a separate layer or folder. Download an image of your avatar bald, so you can make the avatar with a transparent background for layer 3. For your layer 3, it should automatically align the character with the hair in the back. You wouldn't even have to add a mask for the hair in the back if you want the whole thing to move. Sometimes this does work, but not always. I'll show you how you can do this by simply pressing color on the bottom part of the screen on that layer of the hair in the back, then press the search bar. Search miniwave V and look for the upward arrow on the left or right side where you can adjust the intensity of the wave on this bar. When you're on this window, press the upwards facing arrow and you can adjust the speed as well. I like to select very slow. There are more settings inside this speed window, but again I like to use very slow because it looks the best with hair and clothes. If you tick the box in your speed tab, it will also reverse the direction of the wave. However, here are some instances where the hair won't move like this as a whole, realistically or aesthetically. For example, if you have bangs or fringe, you wouldn't want the bangs to be waving around as well. You would want the longer strands of hair to move, that you can see in my edit here with the mermaid's hair only moving in the back, whereas her bangs or fringe or whatever you want to call it, her front hair is not moving. If you want to move only a certain part and don't want to go through the trouble of segregating your layers, you can use the mask tool to select things on VideoStar. On your layer in VideoStar, press Add Mask. Under the Erase tab, there's a magnifying glass with a plus sign on it. Click into that and it will take you onto this mask page. The 4 icons on the top are editing interface options, and you're free to zoom in here to mask the item better. On the bottom, there's a feathering option for the brush. You're free to exit the mask page and come back if you notice something odd. On that screen, you can also zoom in and select whatever you want. There are 2 circular brush buttons, one that adjusts size, as you can see, and the other one that adjusts harshness. I like to keep my edges feathered when I'm too lazy to separate the thing and I want to move on to a different layer, so it just looks more seamless. You can see how I'm showing you how to use this mask layer. It can be as easy as just erasing something and keeping the rest. Other times you can copy the layer and paste it onto a new one, then invert the selection of what you've copied to save time, like you see me doing here. The safest option is to always keep your background as your first layer, so you can erase your avatar layer with a transparent background however you want, then add onto it with the other layers later. This is pretty useful for clothes because sometimes I just want to select a small part to move. Once you're done with that, you're ready to move on to clothes. Well, in this case, the tail. I personally prefer moving the skirt or flowy things like that in the same way using the Mini Wave V. In this edit, you can see that the tail should have quite a lot of movement. The same can work for capes, skirts, sleeves, etc. If you make that an individual layer of a cape with a transparent background and put the layer behind your avatar like how I did with my with the hair in layer 2, that should work. Here, you have to have quite some foresight in what you want to move in your edit. You should plan out which parts you want to move when you're on IbisPaint or Procreate. Since I want to move the tail, I'm separating the tail and anything that I drew on it from everything else. So when I paste it, it should be on layer 4, and I want the selection to be the thing I layer on top of my avatar from layer 3 in Video Star. You can see that I've added it as my 4th layer, and that's quite easy. So now I just apply the same Mini Wave V effect by pressing color and the search bar and everything, and searching it. Once that's done, the edit is almost complete. I'm not done yet though, so I'm going back to Capcut to add further layers on top of the animation, because it doesn't feel too immersive as an underwater edit yet. I've saved some overlays and lighting layers from IbisPaint. Be sure to save them as a transparent background, even though, well, it's not completely opaque, but it's also not completely transparent, so just keep that in mind. On Capcut, you should select splicing. Just make sure that the blending options are available when you edit the overlays, because it's likely that your desired lighting type is not accommodated in the video format. My underwater overlay was very cloudy before I changed up the splicing. So that should be the end of my video. I hope you guys found this helpful. Ask anything in the comments and I'll try my best to answer. Thank you!